Welcome to the Faces of St. Kate. I'm Maureen Regali, the curator of the art collection at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. And I am here with Samantha Timm, who is an executive assistant and an art historian, as well as a most excellent tour guide. And hi, Sam.
Hi, Maureen. Thank you so much for that lovely, flattering introduction. I'm so happy to be here talking about what I do for St. Kate. It's a very exciting time for the hotel since we're so new and exciting. And yeah, happy to be here.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about your very unique role at the St. Kate? You're both an executive assistant, but also an art historian. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So as the executive assistant for St. Kate, I assist our general manager as well as the director of human resources, as well as the director of arts programming in the hotel.
So you kind of do everything.
Yes, in a sense I do. And I'm kind of a generalist for the hotel who is the touch point for anyone and everyone who walks through our doors as a guest or a visitor, as well as all of our staff and associates.
Wow, so you get to talk to everyone and get to learn about the art collection here. That's really cool. So I know that your background is not in hospitality or hotels at all. Your background is as an art historian. Can you tell us how you ended up at the St. Kate? Because it's actually a really interesting journey, I think.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Not that you've told me this story before, but go ahead.
No, yeah. We actually knew very little about each other before we did this podcast. It worked out kind of well. So anyway, my road to St. Kate was exciting and kind of fast, it feels like, even though it started about 7 years ago. At University of Wisconsin-Madison when I decided my freshman year to become an art historian. I don't know if a lot of people do that. You know, they just decide I'm going to be an art historian.
Did you have like one of those really influential professors or take one class where all of a sudden you just knew that art history was what you were going to do for the rest of your life?
I think so. I did. And I grew up going to the Milwaukee Art Museum, visiting and looking at the art collection, just being inspired by the art there. But once I got to Madison, I was given the resources to succeed as an art historian, and I just saw how interdisciplinary the field was, and it made me so excited and engaged because I realized that it's a career and discipline that forces you to learn about every single aspect of a piece of art, and teaches you how to analyze and examine all possible origins and just become an expert on whatever you're talking about. So,
wow, yeah, I completely agree. I absolutely loved the few art history classes I took in college. I absolutely loved them. And I think I completely agree with you. It really makes you think about the context of the artwork, not just the actual work of art, but everything that went into its creation.
Yeah,
we could talk about this forever, probably.
Oh, yes, and we will, but that's for another episode.
Okay, fine. So, you were at Madison.
I was at Madison.
Decided to study art history.
Yeah, and once I graduated, I moved to New Jersey, but I was working in New York for about a year. And I chose to go out there just to expose myself and situate myself within all of the culture, museum culture, and art history happening there. And working in New York, I worked for the Guggenheim for a little bit as their visitor services intern.
The Guggenheim, I've heard of them before.
Oh, yeah, you may have heard of them.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So it was kind of a different level of exposure to, contemporary art and the really fast-paced art world out there. Once I finished my year in New York, I moved to York, England, and went to school at the University of York to do my master's degree in art history and specialize in 19th century British art.
Fancy.
Yeah, they are known for it. So I was very targeted in my choice to go to York. The specialists, the foremost specialists in 19th century British art work there, and I decided I wanted to be their student and have them mentor me. So when I was there, I had this excellent opportunity to curate an exhibition right in my field. So at the York Art Gallery, I was a student scholar, so they gave me a scholarship in exchange for me curating this exhibition on 19th century aestheticism, which was like, whoa, that's that is perfect. That is my dream. So,
Yay! You got to curate your dream exhibition already?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot there about the practice of curating and kind of weaving in my academic expertise with presenting it concisely and accurately to the public. So that was really exciting. Yeah. And then I moved back to New Jersey.
Okay.
Worked for a private collector for a little while, and just really honed my ability to do things quickly and keep up with the fast pace that is regular out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, the New York and New Jersey art worlds are incredibly fast-paced, that's for sure. And then, okay, you were working for a private collector in New Jersey and then ended up back in Milwaukee?
I did. I really missed Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I am from Milwaukee, and I did not know that St. Kate was opening when I moved back. However, it worked out it was just fortuitous. It worked out very well that I got to work here, and I've never worked in hospitality before. So my 7 years leading up to this point have all been museums and curating and art galleries, and it's prepared me very well to work with everyone here and be a touch point for the art collection, and also just as a teacher, I think, also to the staff.
That's really great. So I have kind of a random question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love most about art history?
So many things. I think the reason I love it most is because it gives me this sense of constant wonder. I've kind of always been like that, but now, getting to study and teach about what I love to do, I'm just so excited all the time to talk to people about art and just to marvel with them, as we learn together about this piece we're talking about in the hotel, or how this work of art by contemporary artists, like Beth Lipman with her glass sculptures flanking the staircase on the first floor, how she relates to 17th century Dutch painting.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably have an entirely new podcast about how art history and contemporary art are totally relevant to each other.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people, when they hear about art history, they're like, well, that's only related to the past and has nothing to do with what's currently happening in the contemporary art world. And yeah, I think you can probably talk to the fact that they're actually very relevant to each other.
They're extremely related, and they're not mutually exclusive by any means. They're totally on the same playing field. They need to be in conversation all the time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, and then I guess one of my other questions for you is, what do you find most interesting or challenging about your work at the St. Kate?
Yeah. I think what I find most interesting are a couple of things. The connections that I'm able to make with guests that come to our hotel, or visitors who are attending a musical performance or a theater performance, or just coming for our art tours that we give 3 times a week now. And the connections I'm able to make with our staff, that's really enriching for me. And simultaneously, the other part that's really surprising is how innovative contemporary artists can be. The John Riepenhoff sculpture, with it's his legs. The artist has cast himself, and he wanted to partner with someone else. And one surprise that I learned about today was you just mentioned to me a few minutes ago that you noticed, his shoe is untied. So you had to tie John Riepenhoff's shoe this morning.
Yes, that is the first time I've ever tied a sculpture's shoe before.
And so I'm envisioning in my mind the process of you going out to the sculpture. Oh, excuse me, can I get that for you? I'm sorry.
Your shoes untied.
Take
Yes, that was. I'll just chalk that one up to unique art experiences for sure.
Yeah, and that is what this hotel is about: unique art experiences, and that is what makes it so exciting to come to work every day for me. Yeah.
Cool. And I guess one last question for
Mhm.
you. So you've been really involved in helping get the art tours set up, and you're really great at giving art tours. What is your favorite thing about giving art tours, or what is it that you really love about them?
Um, I think that each tour is different based on the guest that has arrived and decided to take this journey with you. I had someone come in, sometimes I get one person that shows up for the tour, and sometimes I get, 15 if
Mhm.
I'm assisting you or doing the champagne tour on Fridays. So, one tour was this personal tour, and this guest really loved architecture. So I got to talk about and spin the collection in architectural terms. And then, champagne tours tend to be more social, and so it's a different way of interacting with the guests. And another one, I had a few kids on the tour, and so
And that totally changes how you talk
oh
about the art, what you're focusing on.
yeah, and then they
Absolutely.
have these really insightful comments. I'm just like, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah,
The tour is
you should lead
over.
the tour. Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining me today. Uh, Anything else you want to add? Oh,
Let me think. I think we covered a lot of ground, um, and we will cover more on our next episode.
wonderful. Thanks for joining us for The Faces
Faces
of
of
St.
St.
Kate.
Kate!